Getting the plant down is arguably the most important thing for the attackers to do in any given round. Because of this, Ubisoft has added multiple operators to the defensive side over the years that can stop this from happening. So today I'll be comparing every plant to now operator, those being Tachanka, Smoke, and Goyo. I will be doing this by giving them a score out of 10 in 4 key categories. These categories are gadget, loadout, secondary gadget, and versatility. Then at the end of the video, I'll be adding up their scores to come to a verdict. So make sure you watch until the very end to find out who is the best plant denial operator. To start us out, we'll be going over Tachanka. If you haven't played Siege in a while, you may be confused as to why he is even in this video. Well, they gave him a completely new gadget in year 5, this being the Shumika launcher. This launcher shoots grenades that will bounce once before exploding on impact. When they explode, fire will begin to spread until eventually fizzling out after 7 seconds. This means that in any given round, he can burn a total of 98 seconds, which is half a round off the clock. But the one downside of his fire is its small radius. Attackers can easily move around or run through the fire if it isn't placed properly. Also, since Tachanka's gadget is a launcher, he has to put his gun away to use it. This makes him extremely vulnerable, and attackers can easily swing him if he isn't careful. Taking all of this into account, in the gadget category, I'll be giving him a 3 out of 10. His gadget can be useful to cover small hallways and staircases, but outside of that niche use case, it isn't great. Now to discuss his loadout. Tachanka has the option between the DP-27 LMG and the VSN submachine gun as primary options, and the PMM, GSH, and the Bearing 9 as secondary options. The DP-27 LMG is terrible when it comes to DPS, but that isn't its main draw. It is mainly used as a way to make rotates and head holes for your team. Now you may be wondering, isn't it an LMG? Well yes, but Ubisoft gave this bad boy some real destructive capability. His other primary, the VSN, is solid. It has a good damage, high fire rate, and a good magazine size. I personally would recommend it over his LMG because it is much easier to control, especially if you're new to the game, and it is a way better gun from a DPS standpoint. As for secondaries, the PMM is one of the best pistols in the game. It has stupid damage for a pistol, but with the trade-off of a low capacity. But the GSH is the exact opposite. It has low damage with a really high capacity compared to the PMM. As for the Bearing 9, I think it is Tachanka's best secondary option. The Bearing 9 being automatic makes it a perfect secondary option when you are running the LMG. Also, it's not like it has terrible recoil either. It is super easy to control, especially compared to the SMG-11. So for his loadout, I'll be giving him a 6 out of 10. Now to talk about his secondary gadgets. Tachanka has the choice between a deployable shield and barbed wire. If you've been playing for longer than a couple of hours, you have likely figured out how strong the deployable shield is. It is by far the best secondary gadget in the game. This is due to shields allowing defenders to hold power positions they normally wouldn't be able to. As for barbed wire, it is a great choice if your team already has a deployable shield. You can set up your barbed wire on staircases or hallways to give your teammates a warning of incoming attackers. Overall, I'll be giving his secondary gadgets a 10 out of 10. I don't think you can really get much better secondary gadgets than what he brings to the table. Now to discuss Tachanka's versatility. I think this is an extremely strong aspect of Tachanka. With everything at his disposal, he can set up the bomb site, play on a power position with his deployable shield, and he can deny the plant with his gadget. The only real downside he has is that he is a 3 armor. But since you are supposed to play him on site behind his shield, it doesn't affect him much. So overall, I'll be giving him a 9 out of 10 in this category. Now it's time to move on to Smoke. His gadget is the Toxic Babes, aka Toxic Canisters. His canisters, after being detonated, will cause toxic smoke to spread in a large area that lasts a total of 10 seconds. He has access to 3 of these, meaning that he can burn a total of 30 seconds off the clock compared to Tachanka's 98. However, Smoke's canisters have a much wider range, meaning they can block doorways, windows, large hallways, and staircases with ease, while Tachanka's fire can struggle to even cover a small hallway. Also, Smoke is able to deploy his gadget quickly without being vulnerable. With all this in mind, I'll be giving Smoke's gadget a 10 out of 10. Now to discuss his loadout. Smoke has the option between the FMG-9 submachine gun and the M590 shotgun as primaries, and the SMG-11 machine pistol and the PT-26 pistol as secondary options. The FMG-9 is a really underrated SMG. It has solid damage, a good fire rate, and on top of that, a 1.5, which is pretty rare these days on a defender. As for the M590, I've talked about his shotgun in length on previous videos, but this thing is just simply amazing. It has good range, good damage, and its ability to make rotates is just unmatched. It is easily the primary that fits Smoke the best, and that is why everyone runs it on him. Now, his secondaries are also really good. His SMG-11 is the best machine pistol in the game without question. It has good damage, a really easy to control recoil compared to other machine pistols, and a stupid fire rate. It also fits his shotgun perfectly. It allows him to get away with running the shotgun while still having an automatic weapon at his disposal to take mid-range gunfights with. As for the P226, it is a really good pistol with high damage and a good capacity, but you really shouldn't ever run it when you have the option of the SMG-11. So overall, I'll be giving his loadout a 10 out of 10. I don't think you could really do much to improve it, honestly. Now to discuss Smoke's secondary gadgets. He has the choice between a deployable shield and barbed wire, just like Tachanka. Since they both have the same secondary gadgets, it's pretty easy to rate Smoke here. I'll be giving him a 10 out of 10, same as Tachanka. Now to discuss his versatility. Smoke has the ability to do everything Tachanka can, but better in my opinion. Smoke can set up the bomb site while still having good guns, and he can play behind his deployable shield, with a safer and better gadget. Also, he is a 2-speed unlike Tachanka, meaning that he can easily rotate if he needs to, and he's a lot quieter. So overall, I'll be giving his versatility a 10 out of 10, 1 point higher than Tachanka. Now that we have done Tachanka and Smoke, that leaves us with Goyo. Goyo's gadget is the Vulcan canister. He gets 4 of these bad boys that can be placed on surfaces around the map. When shot, they will explode, causing fire to spread. If attackers get caught in the radius, they will take significant damage, and if caught off guard, can even die. The main thing that makes Goyo stand out from his competition, Smoke and Tachanka, is that his gadget is stationary. You must preemptively place his gadget, while Smoke and Tachanka must shoot or throw their gadget into position when they need it. Also, each of Goyo's canisters lasts way longer than other operators, with each canister's fire lasting a total of 20 seconds, meaning that Goyo can burn a total of 80 seconds in a round. This may be slightly lower than Tachanka, but his canister's radii is much wider than Tachanka's fire. The only downside of Goyo's gadget is that if the attackers get control of where you placed his canisters, they can use those canisters against your team. So taking all of this into account, I'll be giving his gadget an 8 out of 10. Now for Goyo's loadout. He has the option between the Vector submachine gun and the TCSG select shotgun as primary options, and the P229 handgun as his only secondary. The Vector on Goyo is absolutely cracked, specifically because it has a 1.5 on him. If you've ever used the Vector, you know how busted it is. It has controllable recoil, a stupid high fire rate, and solid damage. With the 1.5 that Goyo specifically has, it makes the Vector one of the best defender weapons in my opinion. As for the TCSG, it has a way higher skill gap than the Vector. Its recoil is extremely hard to control if you're new to the game, and its damage may be solid, but I don't think it is worth running over the Vector. The P229, considering it is his only secondary, is alright. It has solid damage and a decent capacity. It just gets the job done. Overall, I'll be giving his loadout a 9 out of 10. Now to discuss his secondary gadgets, which he has some pretty solid options here. He has the choice between the nitro cell and proximity alarms. Nitro cells are extremely strong. They can allow you to pick up free kills, or if things get rough, deny a plant. As for proximity alarms, they are decent for giving your team a warning of where the attackers are coming from, but they really aren't worth running over the nitro cell. So I'll be giving his secondary gadgets an 8 out of 10. Finally, it is time to discuss Goyo's versatility. This is likely Goyo's weakest aspect. He can't make rotates or head holes for his team, he doesn't have a shield, and his gadget, depending on where you place it, can hurt your team, meaning that he is only useful on specific bomb sites. He does have his 2-speed rating going for him, but I'll still be giving him a 4 out of 10 in the versatility category. Now to answer the question you clicked on the video for. Who is the best plant-to-now operator? Well, let's go to the scores. Starting out with the gadget category, Tachanka got a score of 3 out of 10, Smoke got a score of 10 out of 10, and Goyo got a score of 8 out of 10. For the loadout category, Tachanka got a score of 6 out of 10, Smoke got a score of 10 out of 10, and Goyo got a score of 9 out of 10. Then for the secondary gadget category, Tachanka and Smoke tied with a score of 10 out of 10, while Goyo got a decent score of 8 out of 10. Finally, for the versatility category, Tachanka got a score of 9 out of 10, Smoke got an amazing score of 10 out of 10, and Goyo got a score of 4 out of 10. This puts Tachanka in third place with an overall score of 28 out of 40. He brings a ton of utility and site setup to the table, but his guns and gadget aren't the best. As for our number 2 spot, we have Goyo, which achieved an overall score of 29 out of 40, making him barely edge out Tachanka. I think Goyo is an operator that can bring some real lethality, but his gadget is just too situational. That means that the winner of this video is Smoke, where he achieved an amazing score of 40 out of 40, making him the first operator in the entirety of this video series to achieve a perfect score. And I think he deserves it. He can help his team set up the bomb site, he has great guns, and his gadget can change the course of a round if used properly. So, this is their ranking in order. As always, this video is strictly my opinion, and if you disagree, feel free to leave your opinions in the comments down below. If you enjoyed today's video, I make Siege content just like this twice a week, so go subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter if you don't want to miss the next upload. If you want to watch another video just like this one, a video will be popping up on your screen right now where I compare Buck and Sledge. I'll see you next time, friends, and peace.